Welcome to this tutorial on the introduction to Agility Trader 4 Companion. This is the second video of a two-part series, the first video being the introduction to the Agility Trader 4 Expert Advisor. In this video we're going to cover the various tabs on the program, which include strategies, backtesting and optimization, MultiCharts, the single chart, web pages, alerts, watch lists. There's a pop-up lot size calculator, and finally setting colors for the program. To start the program itself, it's just a matter of clicking on the Agility Trader icon, which should have been created with the installation of the program. So we'll go ahead and click that, small splash screen, and once again we have the program running. The initial tab is the Strategies tab. In this tab we're going to build our particular strategies that we may be backtesting or optimizing. The first column is the management column. It's where you set the details relating to the expert advisor itself. The red inputs for the stop loss, the green inputs for the take profit, the blue inputs for the equity management. And this column here is the column that you'll use to build your particular strategies associated with the expert advisor. As I detailed in the expert advisor introduction, there are 4 different types, trade types. There's a buy entry, buy exit, sell entry and sell exit, and up to 5 conditions with each particular type. The program is pretty popular with the default strategy. It's a simple RSI strategy. The buy entry part of it is for the RSI 14 to cross above a nominated value of 30, and the sell entry aspect is for the RSI 14 to pass down through a nominated value of 70. You can add new conditions at any stage by clicking on the new condition button here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and backtest this condition, and we'll see how it resolves. Just a note regarding backtesting: the backtesting range does default to the last 3 months of data, which culminates in the completion of the last full month. The web is the source of data. You can change that to local data, and there is an ability to download this data on the Forex follow-on forum. At this stage we'll just backtest on web-based data, so I'm going to click on backtest. There'll be a small delay while it gathers the data. After it gathers the data, it quickly runs a backtest over the last 3 months, and here is the result. And that's your equity curve. It's just a small result of $123. So just looking at this particular tab in a bit more detail, the first table is the result of the optimization, the result of the backtesting. The second table is a summary of the conditions which are applicable for the backtest. The third one is the backtest report itself. You can see here that our profit is $123, average win is 148, average loss 122. Over here is your equity curve, which is the red line. The blue bars are the individual trades themselves. So, as I said, it's a fairly flat line result. The individual wins and losses are shown here on the blue bars. The accumulated wins and losses over here in the pie graph. The losses 1954, the wins 2077, and the longs contributed to $210 of profit, the shorts $88 loss. And here is a breakdown of day of the week in which the trade was open. I stress it's the opening day of the week. There is an option to click on hour of day, which simply shows you the hour of the day in which the trade was open. If we go back to the day of week, you can see that Mondays and Fridays weren't particularly good days for trading. Generally speaking, Mondays is not a very consistent day for trading, so we're going to use this as an exercise to cut out trading on a Monday. So what we'll do is go back to the Strategies tab, and we're going to highlight the market buy. We're going to introduce a new condition which prevents trading on Monday. So I'll click on new condition, and it's automatically been set to active. What we're going to do is going to select the type as a time-based consideration, so we'll select time. There are no parameters associated with time, but there are parameters associated with the comparison. What we're going to do is make it greater than, and I'm going to select a nominated value here. Now, the figure that goes in parameter 1 is the day of the week, the parameter 2 is the hour of the day, and parameter 3 is the minute of the hour. So what we're going to do in parameter 1 is select a value of 2. Now, that basically means that as long as the time is greater than Tuesday and the hour of the day is 0, that a trade will be open. Now, if we would select 1 and say Monday and leave that at 0, would open any trade on Monday because it would be greater than the hour of 0000. But we want no trades on Mondays, therefore we're going to say greater than a nominated value of 2 for Tuesdays, hour of 0. So we'll go ahead and apply that condition, and we simply need to add an extra condition for the cell. Once again, we'll set the type 1 equal to time, and it is evaluating the particular bar. No parameters on the time side, but on the other side we're going to say greater than, and we're going to select a nominated value of 2. Don't forget, whenever you create a new condition, apply the condition down here. So what we have here is the RSI as it was previously, but we've added a time consideration of greater than a nominated value of 2. So we'll go ahead and back test that again, and you can see that this time after it does the back test that we have no trades on Mondays, and a little bit better result. We've got a $343 profit by cutting out Mondays. So just go back to the strategies tab. There is a way of resetting everything back to where it starts, and that is by clicking on the restart button. So if we restart it, you can see now that we have it back to the original with it trading on Mondays. Let's just say we'll leave the Mondays in there at the moment, but we want to optimize the existing parameters to see if we can get a better result. So rather than press the back test button, we're going to press the optimize button. Now, by the action of pressing the optimize button does mean that we will automatically optimize the existing parameters. So we'll go ahead and do that. Click on optimize. Now, once again, the gathering of the data, and you can see now that the green bar is moving across and we're getting a number of results in the list of results table, and it is automatically doing the optimization for us. There are no need to set any parameters. This is all automatic in the companion program. You can see already that we have a best result received of $1125 profit. Now, when this finishes, we'll have a look at the results, and it will automatically select the best result, but you may care to look at some of the other results, particularly in mind with the drawdown figure achieved. We've got fairly low drawdowns on this optimization, so it's not really a factor. When it completes, it will automatically select the best one and run a back test on that particular set of optimization figures. So we can see in this situation we've got a fairly good equity curve, an increase of $1,342 in equity. The maximum drawdown is 2%, and profit factor is quite high at 4.28. Now, whenever you click on any of these columns, it will automatically evaluate those figures. So you can see the equity curve changing as we select each item. Now, if we were to go back to the strategies tab, you can see that the inputs will automatically change according to the optimization selected. So the best optimization allows for a stop loss of 46, a take profit of 41. The RSI has been increased to 27 for the buy situation. It's remaining at 14 for the sell situation. But you can see here the nominated value has changed for the sell, and similarly for the buy, it's changed from 30 to 48. I just want to, at this stage, move on to the MultiCharts tab, which is the third tab along. When you initially press on it, there'll be no charts displayed, and as I mentioned in the Expert Advisor introduction, we do have a bridge between the companion program and MetaTrader4. Now that bridge is in the form of the MT API Expert Advisor, which can be attached to any chart, and as long as you have trading enabled, which is that auto trading button pressed, you should have a smiley face there. Now, providing you have that smiley face showing on the chart of the MT API Expert Advisor is attached to, you will have a connection. So we'll just go back to our companion program. We're going to click on Connect, and that will establish a connection. You can see very quickly that the charts are being populated. Once these charts are fully populated, it will look at the comparative value of each of the charts and give you what is called the heat map. So here we have the heat map being displayed. You can see on the 1 minute chart it will change fairly frequently. Every time there is a trade made on your MetaTrader4 platform, the color of the chart will change. So the color of the chart designates the strength of that particular currency against the comparative currencies within that particular time frame. So you can see at the moment here the US Canadian dollar is probably the strongest on the 1 minute chart. I wouldn't read the charts on one time frame alone. What I'd be looking for is a fairly strong chart basis across the range of time frames, but maybe a disparity on the 1 minute chart. And this is the case in the Euro JPY at the moment. We've got relatively weak Euro on the 1 minute chart, but fairly strong on the other charts. Another one that comes to mind is the Euro USD, which is fairly strong overall, and it's quite strong on the daily chart. So I'd be looking at waiting for this to turn fairly red, and possibly that one fairly red, and then opening up sell trade. So that's the power of the heat maps. You can disable any column or any row by simply deselecting the tick at the top of the chart. So that's disabled that row, and we've just so we had no interest in New Zealand USD, we could disable that particular row. So each one of these is selectable. Once they turn grey, they are deselected, and they're not taken into consideration when the heat map is being compiled. Just go ahead and recreate those again, or re-enable those. Now, when you re-enable them, I would do a redraw of the charts. I'll just retouch the connect button again. You can see these charts being redrawn. So if ever you have a reason to redraw the charts, just remember that connect button. Once it's redrawn has taken place, it will change its caption to refresh data. Moving on to the single chart. The single chart will display just one chart only. You can select that chart. If we go to Euro USD, and we'll click on 1 hour time frame, just make sure that you have what you require there. When you've got what you require, click on the connect button, and we'll quickly go through and read the data and create the chart. Now, I've noted over the side here is the various relative strengths of the hourly chart. Euro USD at the moment is fairly strong. You can see that represented by a fairly positive upwards green bar there. If we were to select, we'll look at, say, US CAD. So we'll click on that. Just make sure that when you do click that caption there does change. If that changes and we want the 60-minute chart, we'll just click on connect again and let it rebuild the chart. And we mentioned that that was fairly weak, and it is there, and you can see the red bar reflecting that as the last bar. Moving on to the next tab, which is the web pages tab. You can see here we have a number of web pages input in there. You can colorize any particular column, row I should say, by clicking on the row and clicking color row. But one thing before you do that, is you do need to enter the edit mode. Now, if you click on any row at the moment, For instance, if we were to click on this Forex factory row, it will automatically take you to that website. And I'll just have to bring that down into the video, but you can see here it's automatically brought up the Forex factory website. So it's important if you're going to do any editing, such as add new rows, that you enter the edit mode, and then you can start typing to add new extra ones or to color a particular row. So just make sure that you have the row that you require selected, and then click on either color a row, and we'll make that say red, and click on OK. So you can see now the Forex factory row is red. Going on to the next tab, which is the alerts tab. There are two different types of alerts. There's a time-based alert and there's also a strategy-based alert. You can create these at any stage through the strategies tab. If you go to the strategies tab, there is an option to apply it as an alert, any particular strategy that you have highlighted. So back to the alerts page. These time-based alerts you create on this page, or strategy-based alerts you create on the strategies tab page. And similarly, you can color these rows. You don't need to enter an edit mode for this. You can just click on color a row and change any of the rows that you require. Finally, the watch list tab. This similarly is populated through your strategies tab by clicking on add to watch list. You can colorize it similarly. Now at the moment there are no values being shown. We need to actually connect to the Trader4 and these values will display. So I'll click on connect, and you can see now that the numbers are changing interactively, as you can see here at the moment. So these calculations are being made from Trader4 and being sent over to the companion program. Just a tab on the lot size. The lot size calculator button. You may need a couple of presses to bring it up because there is a fair amount of calculation going on interactively. Lot size calculator is a pop-up calculator. You simply fill in the user inputs and press the calculate button. Just a bit of a note here. Firstly, stop loss. If you leave it at 0, it isn't taken into account in determining the wages size. So you just leave it at 0 and that will happen. If you had a stop loss of 70, it will take that into account when calculating the lot size. Currency spare exchange rate is fairly self-explanatory. If you're doing Euro USD, it's the applicable current exchange rate. If your base currency is, say, AUD, you need to put in the applicable exchange rate between the base currency, in our case AUD, and the first pair of your exchange rate. We were mentioning Euro USD, so it's AUD Euro. There is no such exchange rate, but there is a Euro AUD, which is about 1.2 roughly, and if you take the inverse of that, it ends up roughly 0.69. So that's how that figure that goes in there. If we press on calculate, it calculates a correct lot size of 0.17, which represents 2% risk on your equity in your base currency. Close that. Set the colors. Once again, the colors for the buys and sells are graduated. You can set the color for the full size graph and the window background to whatever color you require. Mini graph, by the way, is determined by these colors here. So that's finished with colors. I just wanted to go back and cover on some optional upgrades. If we go back to the strategies tab, there is a button down here called custom data. Now custom data is local data. You can use whichever data set you like with the custom data button. It is not available unless you purchase the upgrade. That upgrade is available through the Forex follow-on tab. I do have the upgrade already installed on here, so we'll click on custom data and you can then select, for instance, AUD, USD. and instead of defaulting to the last 3 months, you can select whatever you like. So we can go right back to the beginning of the year, because we do have data from the beginning of the year. Now that data becomes available for back testing or optimization. Similarly, there's a custom optimization button. You don't have to select everything for optimizing. You can select, if you like, just the, for instance, if you just want to do an exercise in the wager increase multiple, you could select that. I won't go ahead and do that at the moment, but you can select whatever you like for optimizing with that upgrade. The other thing, of course, that you have the ability to read and write set files. These options are not available unless you purchase the upgrade. There is a second upgrade available which relates to automatic optimization. Now, automatic optimization is a real time-saving exercise. If I was to click auto now, we get the option to select whichever currencies we want to use. You can select the whole 14, add your own even. You can select all time frames or just leave it at 60. We'll just back out of that for the moment. Now the set files which are going to be optimized are contained in what's called the reference sets. Now the reference sets, and you can transfer any set file into here, it will automatically cycle through all the sets that are in the reference set, and it will go through the selected time frames and selected currencies. The whole process is automatic. There's no interaction required on your part. It will write results automatically. So let's just quickly set this up, and we won't let the whole thing run. I may pause the video, but we'll then come back and show you what results you can get. So we're going to select auto. We'll just select two. We'll just use Euro and Aussie dollar. We'll deselect the rest of them. We'll just use the hourly time frame. There's a trial of this, I might add. If you just enter the word trial instead of where it asks you for your upgrade code, just enter the word trial and it will run it on, I think it's CCI and PSAR, just as an automatic test. Click on OK for 1 hour, and a little note to say it will optimize all the sets contained in the reference sets with the selected time frames over the selected currency pairs. We click on OK. You can see that this is now starting off, and I'm going to just pause the video for a second, and we'll come back to the video. So we're just coming along towards the last series of the optimizations. There are actually 2 strategies, 2 currency pairs, and 1 time frame. So there were 4 optimizations in total, and we're just right at the end of them. This is the optimization of CCI over the Euro USD. So just about finished. More particularly, I wanted to show you that when this is finished, the results that have been automatically obtained. So this is just about finished. It will run a back test on the last completed strategy. So we're just about there now. So there's the last strategy. In particular, I wanted to make reference to the strategy list. These are the result sets. Now in here we should have a list of 6 files. We've got the 4 set files. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these are automatically being created based on the strategies. So as I said, it will create the optimum set files automatically. Also, it has a spreadsheet compile, a CSV spreadsheet compile with a list of the results that are achieved along the way. So if we were to click on the CCI strategy, we'll just minimize that, try and get this into the video, you can see here that it's got the CCI strategy for the Australian dollar with all the results there on the various takes, and it only selects the top 10 strategies. So that's for the CCI strategy. We won't save that. If we go and look at the Bollinger Band strategy, you can see the results here for the Bollinger Band strategy. So all these tables are automatically created together with the associated set files. At this stage, that completes the tutorial on the companion program. If you do have any queries, by all means ask them on the Forex Follow-On forum. I will be covering a couple of extra strategies, a bit more detail on creating the strategies themselves, and also an explanation on user indicators. Thank you for your participation, and look forward to hearing from you on the website.